So we want to record and I want to share my screen with you. So let's see here. See if we can do that. All right. Let's see how that works. Hello, hello. If you're just popping on, I am just getting all the tech stuff taken care of so we can jump right in. Okay, good. Looks like my screen is good. If you guys can hear me okay, do you want to just pop into the chat and give me a thumbs up? Oops, that's me. Okay. All right, just give me a little thumbs up. I got you pulled up over here on my phone too, so I can see everybody. So if you comment, I will be able to see it in there. Okay. Hey, Vicki. Okay, so I popped on just a minute early so that I could get all the tech stuff sorted so we can really just jump right in. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I know we are all super busy. So first of all, let me just say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, out of your busy schedule, out of your busy life to show up here. And I promise to make it worth your time. So today is the first day of a 3-day workshop that we will do together. And I'm going to talk about the Magik Method. I'm going to tell you everything, all you need to know to start using it and implementing it in your life and business. And the Magik Method is the process of how to actualize your business goals 10 times faster. And you may be here because you saw an ad on Facebook or you saw my email or whatever it is, but you already know that I was talking about the fact that it's a slightly unconventional strategy. It's not like everything else out there talking about how to build your business. And you're going to see why that is as we go along. So let's just talk about really quickly how to know if you're in the right room. So you are in the right room if you are a coach, a healer, a creative entrepreneur of any kind, and you're ready to activate your inner magic in order to learn how to grow your business 10 times faster. So you already know that you're really good at what you do, right? Like you're amazing at what you do. And now you're just ready for all that material success that you actually know you deserve to start showing up. You probably have made your way here having big goals, big dreams, and maybe you even make some progress, right? Like you have a business, so you've made some sort of progress, but then it might feel like you've hit kind of this invisible ceiling of success. And I've been there. I know what that feels like. And you're definitely in the right room if that rings true for you. And then also, if you just sort of feel like through all of the different things on your plate, all the different information coming at you, maybe you set goals at the beginning of the year, right? And you make progress toward those goals, but then it can feel really overwhelming and you're not sure where to spend your time, where to focus to get the most bang for your buck. So all of those things, if any of that sounds like you, then you're in the right room, and I'm so glad that you're here. The really good news is that none of those are actually your real problem. Those are just symptoms of an underlying issue and what we're going to talk about today. So the real problem, air quotes, I love my air quotes, is that you just haven't learned how to really use your own magic to actualize the desires that you have through the portal of your business. So, and once you understand the Magik Method and what we're going to talk about, you're going to see where it is that you've been kind of making missteps, why it's not your fault, and also you'll have the ability then at the end of these 3 days to create a business beyond what you even maybe have ever imagined or thought possible. you're going to realize that there has never been, there never was an invisible barrier. It feels like it sometimes. We're going to uncover that, but you have not even scratched the surface of what is possible for you in your business. And that's what gets me really excited to talk about. So, what to expect? So, you've made your way here. I'm talking about the magic, and I want to peel all the layers back. So, there are 4 main pillars that make up my method, the Magik Method. And each one is super vital to have in place. So, I broke it out over the 3-day period because there's a lot of information and it's a lot to take in all at once. I really want you to have some time to absorb it. But what's really important is that you watch each and every day so that you can have that full circle, the full picture of what this looks like and how to implement it into your life. So make sure that every day you show up to the class. It's just 3 days. I know we're all busy, but you've heard the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that is true. And that applies with this class as well. So show up, listen, watch, take notes, ask questions. I've got my phone over here. So if you ask a question, I'm going to be able to see it in the chat. I want you to get engaged, because just the same as like whatever you put into something is what you're going to get out of it. That it even applies to a free 3-day workshop. I have designed this so that you can have actual tangible takeaways at the end of this. It's not just some airy fairy fluffy stuff. There are actual things that once you implement these, you're going to see how all of this fits together, but you have to show up, right? So let's just dive in. I told you in the pre-video, if you watched it, if you had a chance to watch it, that I don't really do small talk. I don't really do fluffy stuff because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want people to waste my time. So I don't want to waste anyone's time. So let's really just kind of dive right in. So have you ever asked yourself why? It seems like there are some business owners, especially in this space, right? The coaches, the healers, they seem to just have rainbows and sparkles and glitter kind of just following them around. And it seems like they can do no wrong. Their business takes off. And it seems like for you, maybe you don't have that same success, those same immediate results. What I want you to understand is that your entire life is a reflection of your internal self-image. So what is an internal self-image? An internal self-image is who and what you believe yourself to be. So that means that whoever you think you are, that is how you are. However you think about yourself, what you believe to be possible for yourself, that ends up becoming an entire self-fulfilling prophecy. So most coaches, most healers, most people in the creative business specifically, we approach success, and I've done it too, from a backwards place. We're doing it backwards. We're relying on the same, especially women, on the same strategies that we've seen other people do. And we rely a lot of times on the masculine way of business building. You keep trying to hustle harder and change external factors and find the right strategy and all of those things. And really, that's backwards. So what we need to do is to redirect the focus of your true power, which is running your business, incorporating more of what makes you magical, what makes you amazing. And that is bringing in more of the feminine principles. So tuning into your intuition, owning your own inner guidance and wisdom and your own unique magic. And when you start to do those things, and again, I'm going to break all this down for you, this is when you actually can start attracting the success that you want really, really easily. And of course, hustle and strategy is absolutely a part of the equation, but that's not the people that I work with. That is not what they need help with. They have all the strategy coming out of their ears, but what my clients are missing is all the same. And that is exactly what we're going to cover over this 3-day period. So let me introduce myself to you. This is not about me. I'm not going to spend an hour talking about myself, I promise. Even this part actually pertains to you, but I want to introduce myself to you so you know who's talking at you for the next 3 days. And hopefully it's not at you. I want this to be a conversation. But my name is Sara Drury, and I am a mama. My little boy is 7. I have one little boy, and I am married to my very handsome husband. And I have built multiple businesses that have each been successful in their own way. And along the way, I learned how to activate my own magic and then use it to create my life. So my first business was in the beauty industry. I was a hairstylist and then a makeup artist. And as I was building this business, I was dealing with my own internal issues, my own issues of self-worth. And I spent years kind of in hiding behind the scenes. I never thought I was that talented. I didn't think I was very pretty. And I would tell myself, like, no one wants to hear what you have to say. And I just thought everybody else kind of had it all figured out. And I was somehow like this ugly duckling who was broken, and I was never going to be able to figure it all out. But I also was hungry to do the work, and I wanted to create change in my life. And so once I was able to put some pieces in place and shift some things around for myself, especially the unconscious things that hold us back, especially the self-image that we're talking about, this internal self-image, that's when things started to shift for me. My business began to take off in a really big way. Opportunities would just literally just fall into my lap, and I was always at the right place at the right time, and just things just really kind of blew up for me. I went on a media tour. I was published in magazines and on blogs, and I have 2 books that are published. One was an anthology and one is my very own. I booked speaking engagements. I was interviewed on podcasts. And what I really want to make sure that you understand here is not that I'm trying to brag about any of this or make myself seem like something I'm not, but what I was able to figure out how to do once I shifted those things was that I was able to fully support my family financially for years. I was the sole breadwinner for my family. So this isn't just like playing business. When we fully own this stuff, we have the capacity to create so much financial success as well. But as things also continued to shift for me, I was talking about all of this kind of outer beauty stuff, which I love. You see, full face of makeup. I'm still very much into that. But I kind of saw this gap as I had healed some things for myself. I saw that even though I was able to help women feel more beautiful and feel better about themselves, there was still kind of this internal gap that most women that I have encountered still have this internal self-image that is so skewed, right? We can see for other people how amazing they are and how beautiful they are and how talented they are. But then when they ask themselves, it's like, no, I'm not those things. Maybe that's been you. Like, no, I'm not that talented, or she's much prettier than I am, or whatever it is, right? That is the internal self-image. So eventually for me, I came to a point where I just wasn't able to make the impact that I wanted to make from where I was. And this just colossally broke my heart. I made it my mission to find a way to help bridge and close that gap. And again, I had been able to do it for myself, so I knew that it could be done. And that's where this all started to come together. So I got the training that I needed, right? I got trained in neuro-linguistic programming, which is NLP, if you've heard of that. I got certified as a hypnotherapist. I got the skills that I needed to kind of make these changes for people on a deeper level. And I just have such a passion to work with people, women specifically, who are here to raise the consciousness of the planet. And I believe that magical women are the women that are going to change the world. And if you're here listening to this, you're still here on this, that means that you are one of those women. So now that's what I do. I help dreamers all over the world bridge the gap of what you say you want, the success that you know you deserve, with what you actually get. And we do that by reprogramming the subconscious self-image and becoming magic makers. And yes, my approach is a little bit different. Like I talked about, I blend the feminine principles and the laws of the universe with spirituality and science. So I spent an entire decade figuring out what would work for myself and then for others. And then I developed my own method, the Magik Method, for creating success from the inside out. And that's what we're going to unravel today. So the bad news is you create your entire reality based upon your internal self-image. And the good news is that the internal self-image can actually be changed, reprogrammed for you to kind of do whatever it is that you want to do and have all the success that you want to have. So I want to show you how you can do that by activating your own magic and start creating what you want more of on a consistent basis on purpose. So we will uncover the 4 pillars of the Magik Method. But first, what we need to understand is why it is that you kind of have reached the level that you're at, right? So it is your current story that is keeping you stuck. So what is a story? Well, you tell yourself stories every single day, all day long. Some are good stories, some are bad stories, some mean nothing at all, but they're all stories. So here are some examples of stories that you may be telling yourself, especially within the context of your business. A story could be, I'm really struggling to make the kind of money that I want to make in my business. That's just a story. Another story could be, I'm frustrated because I seem to be going backwards, but everyone else around me seems to be having the success that I know that I deserve as well. And again, like I mentioned, it's not your fault. So where does this come from? Well, we all, as children, learn how to be in the world. And a lot of the stories that we continue to hold to this day come from our childhood. We learn our subconscious beliefs as children, and we carry them with us over our life and into our business. So what you were told or experienced when you were younger, it actually shaped who you are now. It shaped your internal self-image. And it actually, this kind of becomes that setting. It becomes a setting. So let's talk about that really quickly. So the messages, they became the stories, the experiences, all of those things from your childhood became a subconscious story. And these stories end up shaping your beliefs about money and success. And they truly become that internal self-image. And again, remember, the self-image is the belief about who you are and what is possible for you in your life, in your business, all of those things. And these beliefs, yes, they're subconscious. So that means that they stay buried in the unconscious parts of ourselves, and they create our habits and our decision making on an every single day basis until now, right? So that's the good news. You're here, you're discovering this. So I want to show you how you can begin to change these subconscious beliefs and reset that internal self-image so that you can start to actualize your success. Okay, so how does this shape your income goals, right? So we're here, we're business owners. Let's talk about that. Did you ever hear things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work really hard to make money? That was me. Money is the root of all evil, or we're just not those kinds of people. Or even maybe it wasn't a specific phrase that you heard, but maybe you experienced your parents fighting about money. That would absolutely shape how you think and feel and believe about what it means to have a lot of money, right? So if you've ever been to kind of like a live event, like a Rachel Hollis or something like that, and there are these amazing Tony Robbins, whatever, these events that we can go to. And when you go, you feel like, wow, that was so amazing. And then afterward, maybe a week or so later, you're like, all right, now what? Now what do I do? The struggle kind of creeps back in, and you kind of come back down to whatever your normal setting is. And this, again, is because of this internal self-image, this internal setting. So I like to think about it like a thermostat on a wall, right? You kind of have it set. Let's say we have it set at 75 degrees because that's what the number on here says. You have it set at 75. And it's kind of this regulator, right? So let's say that your money, your internal money setting is set at 75. So that's what your business is going to make. It's going to make 75. And then again, you maybe experience something and you get a little bit above that, but that is like opening a window, right? It maybe cools the temperature down for a minute, but eventually that thermostat is going to kick back on and everything's going to heat right back up to 75. And you're going to lose the money you made, or you're going to get a parking ticket, or you're going to, whatever it is, right? Your car is going to get towed. So here is what we can do, okay? So you're going to eventually be at that same place. Okay, hold on, sorry. So how do you know where your business thermostat is set? In your business, if you want to know where your thermostat is set, you're going to look at your bank account and you're going to look at your business. That's it. You don't really need to dig any deeper to figure out kind of where you are. You just need to look at those two things. Do I have the success that I want in my business? Open your bank account. Do you have the money that you want, or would you like more? Those are the only two things you really need to look at. And so other examples would be like, you make a little money and then you lose that money. Like I said, your business starts to grow, but then it kind of stalls out again. You make progress with the goal, but somehow you end up right back where you started. So are you beginning to see how this could be playing out in your life, but specifically in your business? Okay, so there's kind of a two-parter to homework this week because I have some more things that I want to share with you. But one of the first things that I want you to do is, and you can write this down so that you can journal on this later, but make a list of the top 5 beliefs that you hold on an unconscious level. Maybe they're not even like, maybe they're not even fully unconscious, right? Like, okay, every single day I tell myself blah, blah, blah about why I can't get to where I want to be. So make a list of the top 5 beliefs that you hold that is kind of keeping your thermostat wherever it is. So that is part 1. So I'll give you a second to kind of write that down, and I'm going to check in the chat. And Angela says, I'm in a wheelchair and got a story. I would love to hear about that story. And, you know, part of that is, do you think it's bad that you're in a wheelchair? Like, does that hold you back from doing some things that you would like to do in a business type of a setting? I'd love to hear. Because we all have those beliefs that we can't be, do, or have whatever we want based on certain things, for sure. Okay. So maybe at this point, you don't actively feel like you've chosen certain things for your business and for your life up until now. But from here on out, whatever has happened, we can actually rewrite the story, right? And we can start to deliberately choose and create where we want to go. So again, going back to these beliefs a little bit, looking at your self-talk, because your self-talk is something that is going to determine the beliefs that you hold unconsciously. So when I say write down 5 things, that's partly what I mean. When you wake up in the morning, what are like the first 5 things you tell yourself? Those would be some unconscious beliefs. Like, they're just on autopilot. They just pop on in. Because the other thing is that whatever you believe is going to determine how you feel. It's going to determine how you feel throughout the day. It's going to determine how you feel in your business and as you're showing up, which is then trickles down. It's going to start to also determine your behavior and the actions that you take on an everyday basis. Do you see how this starts to play out? And then whatever your behavior is, whatever actions you take, right? But again, we're not starting there. But whatever those behaviors are, this becomes the outcome. This helps determine and shape the goals that we have and the outcome that we get. So again, you create the stories based on your life, your past experiences, all of these things. And your business then is based also on that internal self-image. So the stories and self-talk come from how you see yourself and what you think is possible for you. Does this all make sense now? Which is why your self-image determines the level of success in your business. Let me know if this is making sense for you. So from this point, what I really want you to realize, what I want you to really get is that up until this moment, you've been programmed, right? Your setting has been set with a story about who you are and what's possible for you. And then you just end up with this on an autopilot, on a little CD programmed in your mind over and over again, saying, this is what's possible for me, or this is not what's possible for me. And this is the only reason that you actually believe those stories, is just because of those programmed thoughts. But you are in control of your success, especially in your business, even if it doesn't feel like it right this minute. Because when you begin to change these things, when you begin to get off the autopilot and shift your thoughts, your stories, your beliefs, that is how you change your internal self-image And then you begin to change what is actually possible for you. So to kind of recap this section, the negative things that you believe about yourself are just stories. They are unhelpful and they hold you back from moving beyond where you are now. So most of what we say on an every single day basis is something that someone else gave us from childhood and from experiences that we have gone through. They were not our own. We weren't born not believing in ourselves. We weren't born with those as our original thoughts that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not whatever enough. Those were not our original thoughts. You were actually born believing that you were amazing, right? My 7-year-old son thinks he is the fastest, most amazing, smartest kid on the planet. And guess what? That's how we all originally were born. It wasn't until someone started telling us that we were too much, or that we weren't enough, or that we were fat or ugly, or whatever those things that you learned as a kid. And again, maybe you just learned it by seeing other people in those settings, right? So just understand that you were born actually truly believing in yourself. And that's what we want to get back to. We want to reset this little thermostat on the wall with where it is that we want to go and what it is that we want to do. Angela, I see a couple comments. I will come back to those because I definitely want to chat with you. So the magic method, here we are, all that to get to the pillars. But I think it's so important to understand what I've just shared with you before we can even dive in to what the pillars are. So hopefully that has already begun to shed some light for you on why it is that you've kind of made it to wherever it is that you are in your business, but why also you kind of have maybe hit this ceiling. This, again, like we talked about, the invisible ceiling that pops up. We all have it, but this is how we bust through it, right? So the very first pillar of the magic method is clarity of your soul vision. Okay? So basically, that just means, what do you want and why do you want it? And I don't mean like, I want $1 million. I mean, what kind of business do you want and why? What will that do for your life? Look, I know we all set goals at the beginning of the year. We set that we want to, do whatever it is in our business or whatever. Like, we set the goal, but we're not thinking about our soul vision. Most of us don't come at it from that point of view. Most of us just say, I want to have blah, blah, blah. And that's my goal. But I want to know big vision. When it's all over, when your legacy is complete, what does your end vision look like? And that is what you're going to program into your GPS, okay? That's what we are going to set the coordinates on a GPS like we would if we were getting in a car, but we have to know where it is that we're going. That will, for your big overall soul vision, it's like, what did you come here to do? You didn't come here to every single day think and feel like you're not good enough to do the things that you want to do, or complain about not having the money that you want to have to do all the things that you want to do, right? You didn't come here for that. We did not come to this planet to be small, to be sad, to be frustrated. No, we came here to live extraordinary, amazing, fulfilled lives and we came to do some stuff, right? And if you are here, that means that you also feel like you even have a mission beyond that. You feel like you've been given a vision or a mission to complete, and whatever it is, on some level it looks like raising up the entire planet in some way, right? It's you're someone who wants to do good in the world. So if you could get out of your way all those things that don't serve you, what would you want your vision to look like? What are you going to program in your GPS? So really quickly, before we even do that, because I want you to do that later, right? I really want you to figure that out for yourself. But before you even do that, I can already like hear it coming up, okay? Because we all do this. So what are some blocks to feeling like we know where we're going or what it is that we're doing, our soul vision? So sometimes we block ourselves for certain unconscious reasons, right? We say, I don't know what I want. Yes, you do. So you say you don't know what you want because you're afraid if you dream too big that maybe it's not really possible for you. Maybe you can't really have what it is that you really want. Like maybe you have set some goals and you're like going along toward them and it's like, yeah, okay, this is what I want. But really, that's what your mom told you that you wanted. And you're afraid that if you actually admitted to yourself what you really want, like what that soul vision is, that maybe you wouldn't be able to do that. You just don't believe that it's possible for you. And I want you to understand that when you can put all of these pillars that we're going to go over in the next 3 days together, that anything that you on a soul level desire, it is absolutely possible for you. And yes, that includes having lots and lots of money and running a really successful business. So what is the solution to some of these blocks that come up? If you are feeling like a little bit unclear about what your soul vision is. First of all, one of the things is to stop saying, I don't know, or I'm not really sure what that would look like. And instead, start saying, okay, maybe I don't fully know the entire vision, but if I did know, what might that look like? What might it look like if I were able to create whatever I wanted to create in this world? Whatever gifts that I've been given, how can I share those in a way that would absolutely light me up, but also bless somebody else's life? How could I, what might that look like? And I want you to just get really curious about that. Get curious about what that end result might be. So again, why is this so important? Well, the truth is that if you don't know where you're going, if you don't put that GPS in, then you're literally just aimlessly going about, right? And you're not fully stepping into the person that you need to be if you have no end vision. This is why we oftentimes fall off track with our goals, is because we don't even know what it is exactly that we are wanting, what our soul is wanting. And so we have to know a direction that we can go. And here's the crazy thing is that it will change. It will probably change 10,000 times over the course, right? Like, for example, when I started out in the beauty industry, I knew that I wanted to be there. And I was so thankful that I had that opportunity for a decade of my life, because it informed and created the next vision for me. So give yourself the permission of letting it unfold and letting it be fluid. But don't say, I don't know. Don't let that be a block to you blossoming into everything that it is that you're meant to be. So what is it that you want? So now we'll bring it back down to our 2 pieces of homework for today. And yes, I do think that this is the difference between people who are going to really get the most out of this and the people who are going to be like, it was fine. I heard most of it before. Okay, but did you do the work? Did you actually sit down with a journal and write out a list of your most unhelpful stories, your self-talk that you tell yourself every single day? Did you write down 5 of them and figure out what they are? What are those things that you tell yourself every single day that holds you back from who you need to be to do the things that you want to do? And then I want you to, after you create those, after you make that list, I want you to create a new story. I want you to find your GPS. What is that soul vision? When the legacy that you want to leave the world with, what is that end result of you showing up and building whatever it is that you want to build? What does it look like when you are done? What does that look like? And I want you to write it down. So many of us, we just have it all up here and we don't write it down. And there's so much power in the written word, right? There's so much power in that. So this is what I want you to work on tonight for tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to dive into what the actual magical you might look like, and create that new internal self-image. Because again, there's 4 pillars that have to be in place for magic to really occur. And the first one is that you got to know where it is that you're going, why you want what you want, and what unhelpful stories keep you stagnant, keep you at 75 when you know that you should be way beyond that, right? Because that is what is actually possible for you. You can set that thermostat wherever you want to set it, and you can create anything that you want to create. But again, we have to have these pillars in place, and part of it is understanding where it is that you want to go. And then, like I said, tomorrow we're going to uncover and create what this magical internal self-image might look like for you in order to keep going with what you want to create in this world, and blow the lid off of all of it, because that's really what it's about. Okay, so let me come over here. If anybody has any questions, I will pop back in throughout the day to check in the chat for people who have any questions. Okay, so I'm just looking here. Angela, yes, it's a blessing. I feel like it's a blessing and a curse. I understand that. My mom and sister programmed me in a way, but in a way I'm stronger for it. Absolutely. And we're always going to be stronger for however it is that we were raised and what we were told, especially if we can uncover those areas that no longer serve us and move beyond them. And I'm going to show you, especially on day 3, exactly how to do that. You're going to begin this process of how to get on the other side of those things. But we have to know what they are first. That is the absolute first place that we have to start. We have to know what's in our way, and then we have to know where it is that we want to go. And I mean on that vision level. Where do you want to go? What do you want to create? And what do you want your business to look like when it is complete on the other side of your legacy? What does that look like? And that is your homework for day 1. So I would love to hear from you guys in the chat box below. Just let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what comes up for you and how I can support you in this 3 days and beyond, of course. But I want to hear from you and what is coming up from you around this stuff. But make sure that you grab your journal. I'm going to send out an email with all of this recapped for you. That way you can rewatch this. You'll have the homework, the questions that you need to work on will all be right there for you. And I will make it as easy as possible. But just trust that this is the place. This is pillar number 1. This is where you have to start. And if you already did some of this at the beginning of the year of like thinking of where it is that you want to go, come back to it and refine and define more clearly where it is that you want to go at the end result. Okay. And then the 5 most unhelpful things that you tell yourself that are currently in your way. And I cannot wait to see you for day 2 when we're going to talk about that magical version of you and how to actually create that. And I will see you then.